1980s in Britain, the UK economy is shifting from mining and manufacturing to financial services and technology, and Britain's first tech personality was Sir Clive Sinclair, who had a string of product innovations and an eye for publicity. In April 1982, the ZX Spectrum was launched, a home computer with colour and sound in a little black case that looked far more appealing to the mass market than its shoddy beige rivals. This is mine, with some games and a cassette player. And I have a modern telly with an analogue UHF tuner. So let's see if we can still have fun like back in the day. My Spectrum is a refurbished 16K model that's been upgraded to 48K. Before I can do anything, I need to tune the TV in. I can get some vague image, but nowhere near good enough to use, and fine tuning doesn't help much. Even knowing the channel and frequency, this is the best I can get. So if I don't want to buy an old box telly or pull my Spectrum apart and start soldering, what are the options? The first one I've got is the ZX-VGA-JOY, a VGA monitor and joystick interface. The second option is this Byte Delight ZX HDMI interface. Some assembly is required, but it did come with a C5 keyring, which is nice. Putting it together is quite easy. You snap 3 circuit boards together. There's a Raspberry Pi in here, so basically you're going to have another computer hanging out at the back of your Spectrum doing all the video conversion work. Then insert an SD card and screw the box in place. I didn't even have time to drink my tea. So here are the 2 options I'm going to try. First up is the VGA-JOY, which has 2 ports and a select/reset button. With a bit of encouragement, it fits firmly into place in the back of the Spectrum. It's nice and flush with the bottom of the Spectrum, so it doesn't wobble on the table at all. It all feels very solid. I don't have a VGA input on my TV, so I tried composite and component cables, but they didn't work for me. So I went to my trusty scan converter box, which is quite a technical bit of kit for everyday use. The desk is looking a bit cluttered now, but it works, and we have a screen full of copyright message. So now I can put my legendary programming skills to the test and really put the Spectrum through its paces. Typing on a rubber keyboard isn't that easy, but I persevered and I think the results speak for themselves.
Nice!
Pressing the button on the VGA-JOY brings up a menu with a whole load of options that I'm not going to meddle with because it's all working quite nicely right now. So now, ladies and gentlemen, it's Horace time. I don't know why I used echo there, that was lame. I won't show the whole loading sequence, just enough to give you a flavour. Is he cute or just bloody scary looking? You decide for yourself, but one thing is for sure, today he's hungry. Spectrum didn't have the graphics or sound capabilities of some of its 8-bit rivals. You could only colour character blocks, not individual pixels, for example. But it was also much smaller and cheaper. And you can see that the graphics of Hungry Horace are quite basic, but the game is actually quite good fun. It's a kind of multi-room Pac-Man. Loading games from tape has its pitfalls. Everything is going fine until... Now I'll try the ZX HD that I put together earlier. This is a more expensive option than the VGA-JOY, but goes straight to HDMI and includes ULA+, which gives an extended colour palette with compatible software. By default, the aspect ratio is more in keeping with 1982 square TVs, and the output is really crisp. So now it's time for the legend that is Horace Goes Skiing. I'm told that this game actually inspired my friend Clive, not Sinclair, to do real skiing, and who could blame him? The first part of the game is to cross a busy road to hire some skis, and then get back without being killed to death. Only then can you enjoy the skiing bit. You're supposed to avoid the trees and go through the gates, not around them. Next up is Arcadia from Imagine Software. This scratches my space game shoot 'em up itch. It's good fun, but takes a bit of getting used to. Your ship has limited firing range, so you have to move up the screen to avoid some aliens, and for your shots to reach others. The game is good and the graphics work well, but you can clearly see the Spectrum colouring problem. There's lots of colour bleed across the graphics characters. There are 12 levels, and to advance you need to survive until the counter at the top left gets to 0. Now for Manic, a classic platform puzzle game that I've never played before. The deliberately awful intro screen music gives a clue to the zany nature of the game and will quite possibly give you nightmares. The game is infuriating, but I can see why it's a legend in the Spectrum world. I could play it for hours, but the music might send me insane. It's all about timing and accuracy, and this game inspired a whole load of similar games. Demo mode shows some of the other rooms and the trippy challenges within them. As we've seen, loading from tape can be unreliable. Tapes stretch and degrade over time, but there is an Android app, PlayZX, that lets you retain the tape loading experience without the cassettes. It can still be a bit hit and miss, but that's the nature of using audio to store data. One advantage of using the app is that there are various options for playback, but don't forget to turn your notifications off because you don't want a random noise in the middle of an upload. Here I've loaded Chuckie Egg from the app's extensive library of tapes. So there are a few options if you want to experience the 80s with your ZX Spectrum. It'll be fun and occasionally frustrating. Of course you can always cheat and use an emulator and digital downloads, but where's the fun in that? If you enjoyed this video, then please like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.